Have you felt hurt recently? And maybe your emotions a little bit all over the place. So you need some emotional resilience. Well, today I'm going to very openly share a recent experience that I've been working through to build up more resilience and work through hurt. So, thank you for being here today, as always. And I've got to be very open today and share something that I've been going through recently. I tend to, and you see a lot of people who are podcasters or influencers on social media talking about past things they've done or overcome, or maybe interviewing someone who's done that. Now, I want to talk about something that's quite fresh, if that's the best word. I don't know if it's the best word. That I've been going through. And 2 days ago, I would not have been able to make this episode because I was going through a lot of hurt. And I am processing it still. But I want to be real with you and just talk about how I'm working through it and how over the last 2 days I've been able to work through my emotions, because 2 days ago my body was in a very intense state and I had to do a lot of releasing. And in the past, what I would have done was run for alcohol, social media, all these distractions. Now, I did go on social media a bit, but not too much. But instead, I started talking to people, opening up, feeling the emotions in my body. So, I want to be open and share a little bit. Now, I can't share specifics because it came from a certain situation. So, recently I met someone and she is amazing, absolutely amazing. And I was really into her and really liked her. Incredible human being, beautiful on the inside and outside. Unfortunately, the feelings weren't mutual, and that's okay. Right, I'm never going to chase after someone who's doesn't show it mutually. Sometimes it may happen, sometimes not. And when someone has shared their feelings to me, I've usually told her. Unfortunately, I don't feel that way, and then just be respectful to them, because playing games, that's just going to hurt people, and I don't do that in my life, and this person didn't do that to me, and I don't do that to other people. So yeah, I was really hurt though, not by her. She didn't do anything wrong. It was my own emotions and things that are coming up for me, and I think a lot of people underestimate this in terms of when something that appears maybe minor to other people, it can actually be very hurtful to you because other things are coming up in your life, and that's been the case for me. Now, this is I knew this person on a very short-term basis actually, and it was a very, very brief date, right? It's a period of dating, and yeah, I was really into her, and the thing was, the signs were really, really good. I felt we had this really good connection, this energy, this chemistry, and everything was going well, and suddenly, no, I get a no, and that's okay. But for me, it was this beautiful, exciting thing to suddenly, like, it all just being taken away from me. And again, no fault to her. It just is how it is. People's feelings are completely their own, and that's beautiful. And I've got so much appreciation for this person. But like for me, what went on in my own body, and this is completely me, was it was suddenly like I had this beautiful situation that could potentially develop into something more dates and more situations, and maybe go somewhere. Without getting ahead of myself. But I was very excited. My body was very excited about things progressing, and then it's suddenly going boom, being taken away from me. Now, what that did for me was actually woke up past dating relationship situations where that had happened, and it was a little bit more hurtful and a little bit deeper. Even though, um, again, this was fine, totally fine with what happened. But then also going back as early as like suddenly losing my brother, losing my grandma, things like that sort of surfaced a bit in my wounds, and my body went into this like state, and I had to cry. I had to cry to release that intensity that my inner child, the inner child in me that was coming up with. It was like life or death, and I was like, it's not life or death, and I had to really comfort myself. And that showed to me that there's some work in me to do a little bit more. We're always evolving, right? If that was kind of the response. But it's not to say my emotions and feelings are invalid. They are totally valid. But it just like sometimes we can be shown more wounds that we didn't know we had. And Now, 2 days later, from sitting myself, not running to alcohol, not running, putting limits on my social media. I have been on social media, but I limited it, and not looking at this person's stuff anymore, and things like that. It's or being connected with them, like out of respect and love. It is. I've really recovered really well over the last 2 days, and I'm actually in kind of some quite like energetic moments at times. I'm back to making my podcast, so I wouldn't been able to 2 days ago. Probably not even yesterday would have been a bit of a stretch, right? But that's because I've been sitting with myself multiple times, as many times as I need. Not distracting myself, doing stuff, but also processing the emotions. And yeah, it was just for me, it was the shock of like seeing like 20 green flags and everything going so well and amazing, and then suddenly it going boom away. And unfortunately, that can happen in life sometimes. But for me, a lot of events of like things having been taken away from me, people I'd loved in the past, or situations just came up, and I was like in this intense state that I didn't know I had. I talk about self esteem, confidence, and mindset, but the ultimate self love and self esteem for me is actually being able to honor your emotions. I used to think that was like just feeling confident and you got confidence from like alcohol. No, that's fake confidence. That's dismissing your own emotions and feelings, which is the highest level of self love. So I really wanted to share this openly. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into specifics any more than that, out of respect and love for the person. But I just want to share my story because it's not to do with that situation. It's to do with deeper stuff. And you may be going through something that's hurt you. Maybe it is a dating relationship thing. Maybe it is a work thing. Maybe it's a personal relationship with a family member or friend, right? And it's really hurting you. Sitting with emotions and processing it is key. And how does it help you running away? Not very well, I would argue. So I want to go through some points that have helped me through this process of feeling hurt and building resilience emotionally. And it's not to say I'm not going to hurt in a couple of hours' time, maybe. I'm not going to put a timeline on it and then suddenly things come up and I've got to sit with those thoughts again. But over the week, I'm going to be so much better. I'm already better after 2 days. And it's not saying a timeline, by the way, of that you're going to recover in this amount of time. You've got to give yourself your own time, but you've got to put in the work with yourself. And this does not mean getting up at 5 a.m. and then beating the sun and working out and then doing like 3 hours of work. No, it's what's right for you. What does your body need in this moment if you're hurting? You want that emotional resilience. So here are 5 steps that I want to share that have been helping me so far. Number 1, calm yourself down before you communicate to anyone. I'm going to be honest. I could have done this a lot, not a lot, a little bit better this time. In the past, I could have done it lots better, right? Years ago, I'd have reacted, gone mental, and that'd just be completely my own wounds and insecurities. I decided to get a message and then just like calm myself down a little bit, but not enough. And I said something a little bit harsh, but not excessively harsh. So I've learned from this experience as well. And then I said, let's have a conversation. We had a great conversation, I felt personally, to kind of clear things. And it was great. But other people as well, like I perhaps said one or two dramatic things to people, like recently, not over the top, but like kind of like language I wouldn't expect me to say. And yeah, and then they knew what I was going through, but reaching out to people really, really helped. So I would suggest it's not always easy, but when your survival mechanism takes over the body, make sure you feel into the body before you communicate with other people. This is why people get into fights. The logical mind is shut down. Get into fights is why people do things they regret, and especially where alcohol's involved, that's even worse because you take your inhibitions completely. But like, if you can, take your phone away, walk away from the person or people you're around, and then just let your body do what it needs to do. Maybe it's an intense walk, maybe it's shake out, maybe it's scream into a pillow. Do what you need to. That's my number 1 tip that I did not get exceptionally right this time, but I got it a lot better, and that's progress than I have years ago when I would have in the past. I'm going to be honest. I sent like bad messages to people, and that was not a smart move because I just did not calm the body down. So that's number 1. You don't want to ruin your relationships with people. Number 2, realize you are the priority in this situation. It's not People may be asking you to do stuff like, okay, if you've got like a certain job you got to do it. But like, you are the priority in this moment. You should be the priority for your life, but you are the definite number one priority right now. So I've been like, calling off things, reducing things, not getting back to as many messages, emails. I'm terrible with anyway. So yeah, just put yourself as number one priority in that moment. It's not about like pleasing them if you've fallen out with someone, whether it's a romantic partner, someone you're dating, a friend, family member. Remember, you're the number one priority in this moment. Number three, have a process in advance written down that you can work through. And don't worry if you need to do this process 10, 20, 30 times a day. I've not got to 30 times a day yet, or 20, but in intense times, you may need to work through some emotions. Now, I'll share with what I do. So the first thing I do is I feel the emotion, I label it. And it's not always obvious sometimes. Sometimes it can be grief below anxiety that I've had. So that's number one. So that's the first part of this. This is point number three, but it's the first part of this. Feel that emotion in the body, right? The second part is then what I do, when I allow that to fit, I feel that in the body, I shake it out, I might scream into a pillow. I don't always need to do that, it might not be that intense, but I just feel it. I just feel it in the body. I like shaking myself out, that's quite a good one. The next part to this is then what I do is I then start breathing. I do a 4 in, 4 hold, 8 out exhale. So it's like a breathwork technique that really gets you relaxed. I'll do that 10 times. That activates my parasympathetic nervous system. It's really important to do this after allowing the emotion out, because when you allow the emotion out, your body's like shaking, it's still in fight and flight. It's a good release, but then what you need to do is calm it down. So do some breath work to calm it down. And then the next part, what I do is then I activate my identity. I think of something I'm grateful for. I think about something I've achieved or something great about me. And I really activate that energy. So that's my process. I have a process for you. You've written down in advance, so you don't have to think of it in the moment, because when you're in the moment, it's going to be hard, that you can just do when you get emotionally built up and you need some emotional resilience. And like I said, I schedule it in mine for 5 times a day proactively to do it. Even if I'm feeling good, I'll do it. But like when I'm not feeling so good, I've got it and I can work through it. And if you need to do it 20 times a day, that's fine. The fourth thing is have people around you as much as possible. I went to see family, which has really been beautiful, connecting and sharing. But also you need time alone, I feel. I personally need time alone. So I don't want to be alone all my time because that's hard. And I like to be around people because I've got a lot of friends all over the world like saying, are you okay? And messaging me because I was telling them about the situation and how great it was going and all this kind of thing. So then I told them it wasn't. And then they were like, oh, are you okay, Johnny? So talking to people is great. But I also need that time alone to process things. So find it for you. That's what I'd suggest. And then the fifth one, like I'm doing right now, is making a podcast actually on the topic. But have things to do, your mission, your purpose, what you like doing. Like earlier, I got a job promotion. That was awesome while I was at work, right? Crazy how things show up when you start working on your emotions, right? And that's not a coincidence, by the way. Although, obviously, I would have loved this situation to work out over a job promotion, if I'm being totally honest. But life is what it is, right? But I'm grateful for the job promotion. But have some things to do that you can work through. And also, as well as doing that, allow yourself to emotionally process. So for me, when I emotionally process too much, and I'm guilty of doing this because I used to do none of it, and then I suddenly started doing the emotional processing, and I do it like way too much. So for me, it's about finding that balance between emotionally process and doing things proactively as well. So that's what I got for you today. If you feel hurt from something, and again, when I say hurt, it's for me, it's coming from myself. It's not to do with anyone else. I'm not blame. People can do things to hurt you. This wasn't the case here at all. But it's like deliberately. I mean, and it wasn't the case here at all. But like people can do, and I've not really had that happen to me because I have my boundaries. I don't invite those kind of people into my life anyway. But people can go out and hurt other people deliberately, and of course that's when you can have that communication to them. But yeah, when you're hurting and you're wanting some emotional resilience, here are the things I suggested again. Calm yourself down before you communicate. The second one is realize you're the priority, especially right now. You need to be looking after you. 3 is have a process in place. Use your body as well as your mind, because your body holds more emotions. The fourth one is have people around you. Don't, and then also you can be by yourself sometimes to get that balance. Don't be by yourself all the time. You need people. We're human beings, but sometimes you might need a bit of space. So make that judgment for you. And then the fifth thing, do a mix of things whilst emotionally processing. So have some have some things to do like that you love doing. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's making a podcast, maybe it's running. I've done all these things recently. Just go and do the things you love, or keep yourself occupied as well as working through the emotions. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.